Pools are meant to be a place of fun, relaxation, and unforgettable summer memories, but sometimes things take a shocking turn.
Crashing to the garage below and crushing just one car, sparing the rest.
These unbelievable pool mishaps are nothing short of jaw-dropping.
And in fact, no one was injured, and crews were able to go back into the building and resume their project of removing a big swimming pool from above a garage.
Leaving everyone wondering how things could go so wrong so quickly. Whether it's bad luck, poor planning, or pure chaos, these incidents will have you hooked from start to finish. You won't believe the wildest pool moments ever captured. These are the kinds of mistakes you have to see to believe. Rooftop pool collapse in Brazil. On April 22, 2023, a structural failure was documented at a high-rise condominium in Vitória, Espírito Santo, Brazil, involving a rooftop pool. CCTV footage captured the moment when a critical segment of the pool deck abruptly lost its load-bearing capacity, resulting in the immediate drainage of water onto the parking area below. The sudden deluge of water caused significant damage to the parking area and several vehicles, though no casualties or injuries were reported. Preliminary assessments by local engineering authorities indicate that a combination of material degradation, corrosion of reinforcement elements, and possible deviations from the approved construction specifications contributed to the collapse. Investigators have suggested that improper waterproofing measures may have exacerbated the corrosion over time, weakening the structural integrity of the pool deck. Inspectors have noted that prolonged exposure to coastal weather conditions, including high humidity and salt-laden air, may have accelerated the deterioration of key components. The building, which is located near the waterfront, had been exposed to these harsh environmental factors for years, potentially contributing to the failure. In response to the incident, local regulators have initiated a comprehensive review of maintenance practices and pool deck design standards for rooftop amenities across the region. Authorities are now examining historical records of the building's construction, evaluating on-site conditions, and reviewing construction tolerances to determine whether existing safety margins were sufficient or if critical oversights occurred during the design and construction phases. Suspended swimming pool collapse. At an urban residential complex featuring a suspended pool design spanning between two towers, a structural failure occurred during a busy afternoon. Initial reports indicate that visible cracks appeared along the primary support beams, and within minutes the suspended section lost its integrity, causing water to flood the adjacent courtyard. City building officials have since dispatched structural engineers to assess whether the design met established load and dynamic stress requirements. Early indications suggest that repeated daily use, environmental temperature fluctuations, and gradual material fatigue may have contributed to the failure of the support framework. Investigators are reviewing fabrication records and installation practices to determine if any deviations from approved design documents were present. As a precaution, similar installations have temporarily been taken out of service, pending further review. Officials expect that revised safety margins and updated maintenance protocols may be required to address the risks associated with such innovative structural systems. This incident is now serving as a catalyst for re-examining the balance between aesthetic ambition and robust engineering in modern construction projects. Diving through a glass barrier. During a social event at a privately managed villa, a planned stunt involving a dive through a glass barrier resulted in a severe accident. An individual attempting the maneuver collided with a structurally intact glass panel instead of breaking through it, sustaining multiple lacerations, head injuries, and significant trauma to the upper body. Witnesses at the event described the scene as chaotic, with many attendees initially unaware of the severity of the injuries due to the sudden nature of the incident. Emergency services responded promptly, and the injured party was transported to a nearby hospital where they underwent immediate medical treatment, including surgery to address the more severe wounds. A subsequent technical review of the glass installation revealed that, while the barrier had been installed in compliance with aesthetic design standards, it lacked supplemental safety features normally mandated for high-impact scenarios. The glass, designed primarily for decorative purposes, was neither tempered nor laminated to withstand unintended collisions, raising questions about its suitability in an environment where stunts or high-risk activities might occur. Investigators are currently analyzing whether proper risk assessments were conducted during the planning phase of the event, and whether additional protective elements, such as breakaway panels or reinforced barriers, should have been incorporated to mitigate the hazard. Woman's failed rooftop pool jump. During an event held on a rooftop venue, an incident occurred when an individual attempted to jump into the pool from a raised platform and miscalculated the distance. The jumper struck a raised edge of the pool deck during the descent, resulting in a sudden impact that caused moderate injuries. Emergency medical personnel arrived promptly and provided the necessary treatment at the scene. Preliminary investigations are focusing on the environmental conditions and structural layout at the site, including the adequacy of safety barriers and the clarity of demarcated zones preventing hazardous jumps. Engineering observers have confirmed that the structure met the building codes, but noted that ambiguities in signage and insufficient physical safeguards may have contributed to the mishap. In response, property managers are conducting a thorough review of safety protocols on the rooftop, and discussions are underway regarding potential retrofitting of protective barriers. This event has initiated broader discussions about user awareness and the importance of clearly communicated safety guidelines in recreational venues where elevated activities occur. Dog swimming in pool while owner was away. A residential incident in which an unattended swimming pool was accessed by a resident's pet has raised concerns over domestic pool safety protocols. Surveillance footage later revealed that the family dog managed to push open an unsecured gate and entered the pool area without supervision. Although the animal sustained no injuries, the event has underscored vulnerabilities in residential security measures surrounding water features. Local safety experts have since advised that homeowners install self-locking gates, robust pool covers, and other barriers to prevent unauthorized or unsupervised pool access. In parallel, a review of pool management practices at similar properties is underway to ensure that lapses or oversights in routine security protocols are addressed. The incident has generated a focused dialogue among community safety groups about updating residential pool guidelines and ensuring comprehensive risk assessments are performed. While this particular episode did not result in physical harm, it serves as a pertinent reminder of the potential risks associated with inadequate perimeter control, prompting regulators and homeowners alike to prioritize preventive measures. Above-ground pool collapse. In a suburban neighborhood, an above-ground pool experienced a sudden structural collapse during routine use, leading to an uncontrolled release of water and scattered debris. Eyewitnesses reported that shortly after an unusual noise was heard, the metal frame and support structure failed, causing the pool to give way entirely. The force of the water release caused minor injuries to individuals nearby and significant damage to the surrounding property, including landscaping and outdoor furniture. Local building inspectors, responding to the scene, identified several contributing factors to the collapse. These included overfilling of the pool, which increased the internal pressure on the walls, corrosion of the metal components due to prolonged exposure to moisture, and possible lapses in proper anchoring of the pool structure. Inspectors noted that the pool's support frame showed visible signs of rust and wear, which may have gone unnoticed due to insufficient maintenance. Maintenance records are now being reviewed to evaluate whether the pool's installation adhered to the manufacturer's guidelines and if periodic inspections met current safety standards. Investigators are also examining whether the pool's structural components were replaced or repaired as recommended by the manufacturer, particularly in cases where signs of wear and tear were evident. In light of the incident, local safety authorities have issued recommendations for increased scrutiny of temporary pool installations. These recommendations emphasize the importance of regular maintenance, including inspections for corrosion, proper water levels, and ensuring that anchoring systems are secure. Authorities are also urging pool owners to follow manufacturer guidelines closely and to replace aging components before they fail. Pool sinkhole tragedy in Israel. On July 15, 2022, a grave structural incident occurred at a residential pool in a suburban Israeli community when a section of the pool floor collapsed abruptly. This catastrophic failure exposed an underlying sinkhole, leading to the rapid drainage of water and, tragically, the death of one individual during a family gathering. Witnesses described the event as sudden and chaotic, with the pool floor giving way without warning, leaving little time for those in the water to react. Emergency services arrived promptly, but despite their efforts, the incident resulted in a fatality, deeply impacting the local community. Preliminary geological assessments and engineering investigations suggest that long-term soil instability, coupled with inadequate reinforcement of the pool's foundation, played a critical role in the collapse. Experts have pointed to the presence of karstic terrain in the region, which is prone to sinkhole formation due to the dissolution of underlying limestone or other soluble rock. Construction records are currently under review to determine if the foundation design properly accounted for these local geotechnical conditions. Early indications suggest that insufficient soil surveys may have been conducted prior to construction, potentially overlooking the risks posed by the area's geological characteristics. In response to the tragedy, local authorities have mandated a reassessment of existing safety measures for similar residential installations, particularly in regions with known soil variability. This includes requiring more comprehensive soil stability surveys and stricter adherence to foundational reinforcement standards for new and existing pools. The incident has also heightened public awareness about the necessity of routine structural inspections and robust environmental assessments prior to pool construction. Gym pool floor collapse in South Africa. In early 2017, an indoor pool facility at a well-frequented gym in South Africa experienced an abrupt and alarming floor collapse. Witnesses reported that during routine use, the tiled floor beneath the pool suddenly gave way, forcing patrons to evacuate the area swiftly. The incident caused panic among those present, but fortunately, only minor injuries were reported. However, the event raised significant concerns about the structural integrity of the facility and the adequacy of its maintenance practices. Preliminary examinations by structural inspectors revealed that persistent exposure to water and inadequate waterproofing of the underlying support structure were likely the primary causes of the collapse. Over time, constant moisture had compromised the bonding integrity of the subfloor materials, leading to gradual deterioration that eventually reached a critical failure point. Inspectors noted that the waterproofing measures in place were insufficient to protect the structural components from prolonged exposure to water, a common issue in high-use aquatic facilities. The management of the gym has since commissioned comprehensive engineering assessments to determine the full extent of the deterioration and to identify any other vulnerabilities in the facility's infrastructure. These assessments aim to ensure that similar failures do not occur in other parts of the building. Additionally, local authorities have mandated an immediate review of maintenance procedures at similar establishments across the region. This includes stricter adherence to inspection schedules, improved waterproofing standards, and the implementation of rapid intervention protocols to address early signs of structural wear. The incident has also prompted broader discussions about the importance of proactive maintenance in high-use facilities, particularly those exposed to challenging environmental conditions, such as constant moisture and humidity. Experts are emphasizing the need for enhanced inspection protocols, the use of durable materials specifically designed for aquatic environments, and regular updates to maintenance routines to account for wear and tear over time. Community safety advocates and regulatory bodies are now working together to raise awareness about the risks associated with neglecting proper upkeep in aquatic facilities. This includes educating facility managers on the importance of routine structural assessments and ensuring compliance with updated safety standards. The collapse serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers posed by inadequate maintenance and the critical need for robust safety measures in public and private recreational spaces. Apartment pool deck collapse in Florida. The tragic collapse of the Champlain Towers South condominium in Surfside, Florida, on June 24, 2021, which claimed the lives of 98 people, has been linked to serious structural issues with the building's pool deck. Federal investigators from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, recently reported that the pool deck failed to meet the original building codes and exhibited significant strength deficiencies. These findings have bolstered suspicions that the deck's structural failures played a pivotal role in the collapse of the 12-story residential building. According to investigators, the pool deck showed signs of severe corrosion, misplaced reinforcements, and heavier than anticipated plant containers, elements that collectively strained the structure beyond its intended capacity. Misaligned or insufficient reinforcement bars further weakened key areas of the deck, causing dangerously low safety margins that rendered the structure vulnerable over time. Experts have pointed out that long-term water intrusion into the deck's concrete slab likely accelerated the corrosion of steel reinforcements, compounding the structural degradation. The NIST investigation, which remains ongoing, has highlighted broader issues with the building's design and construction, suggesting that the deficiencies in the pool deck were part of a cascade of failures that ultimately led to the catastrophic collapse. Investigators have indicated that these structural weaknesses were exacerbated by a lack of routine maintenance to address the advancing deterioration. Pool electrocution in Florida. In 2018, a tragic incident in a residential backyard pool in Florida resulted in a fatal electrocution. Reports indicate that an underwater light fixture, which had exhibited intermittent operational issues for several weeks, ultimately discharged a lethal current during use. A subsequent investigation by local utility and safety inspectors revealed that the electrical wiring supporting the fixture had deteriorated, and the insulation integrity had been compromised. Maintenance logs provided by the homeowners suggested that recommended updates had been deferred in contravention of current safety codes. Emergency services responded rapidly, yet the affected individual could not be revived. Authorities have increased their focus on inspecting residential electrical systems associated with pool installations. Local regulators now plan to implement mandatory, periodic safety audits for pool electrical systems. This event serves as a grave reminder of the critical need for rigorous adherence to maintenance protocols and the swift updating of aging electrical infrastructure within residential recreational areas. Swimming pool chemical explosion in Colorado. At a recreational pool facility within a resort in Colorado during 2019, a chemical explosion disrupted operations and raised serious questions about chemical handling protocols. An error in the pool maintenance process led to an unexpected reaction among the treatment chemicals, resulting in a rapid, localized explosion. On-site investigations by safety officials revealed that the chemical mixing procedures had deviated from the stringent standards established in operational guidelines. Equipment intended to monitor and control the chemical balance was found to be outdated and inadequately maintained, contributing to the miscalculation that precipitated the incident. Although no fatalities occurred, several patrons experienced minor chemical exposure injuries, necessitating prompt medical evaluations. In response, resort management suspended pool usage pending a comprehensive overhaul of chemical management systems and retraining of maintenance staff. State regulators have since initiated a review of applicable safety standards, seeking to update guidelines and enforce stricter compliance measures for recreational facilities. Waterslide collapse in Sichuan, China. In 2019, a water park facility in Sichuan, China, experienced a significant structural failure when a section of its waterslide collapsed during peak operating hours. Witnesses reported that, as the slide was nearing the end of its operational lifespan for the day, visible signs of material stress, such as creaking noises and slight deformations, became apparent. Moments later, a portion of the slide gave way, causing several riders to fall from the structure. While the incident resulted in injuries requiring medical attention, which authorities attributed to the relatively low height of the collapse and the quick response of emergency personnel. Structural engineers dispatched to the scene determined that repeated cyclical loading from continuous use throughout the day, combined with prolonged exposure to environmental factors such as UV radiation and temperature fluctuations, had contributed to localized material fatigue. These stresses likely weakened the slide's structural components over time, leading to the failure. Investigators also noted that the slide's maintenance schedule may not have been sufficient to detect early signs of wear and tear, raising questions about whether the facility adhered to recommended inspection and upkeep protocols. The findings from this investigation are expected to inform revisions to safety protocols for water rides across the country. Regulators are emphasizing the need for enhanced inspection frequencies, particularly for high-usage attractions, and improved design criteria that incorporate higher safety margins to account for long-term material degradation. Facilities nationwide have been advised to reassess similar attractions, with a focus on identifying potential risks associated with aging infrastructure and heavy operational loads. Pool drowning in New Jersey. In 2020, a residential pool in a suburban New Jersey neighborhood became the scene of a tragic fatal drowning, an incident that has since prompted significant scrutiny of residential pool safety measures. Early investigation reports indicate that an unexpected malfunction in the pool's drainage system may have created unusual hydraulic forces, potentially resulting in the victim being pulled toward the drain and unable to maintain buoyancy. Witnesses described the event as sudden and alarming, with the rapid sequence of events leaving little time for intervention, despite the presence of others nearby. Emergency response teams arrived quickly at the scene, but unfortunately, resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful. The victim's death has raised critical questions about the role of the pool's design and maintenance in the incident. Local investigators are working to determine whether the pool was equipped with anti-entrapment devices, as required by modern safety regulations, and whether the fencing and other safety barriers surrounding the pool complied with current standards. A detailed review of the homeowner's maintenance logs is underway to assess if irregularities or deficiencies in the pool's drainage system contributed to the malfunction. This tragic incident has drawn attention to the importance of implementing and maintaining robust safety measures in residential pools. Experts have stressed the necessity of regular inspections to ensure that drainage systems, pumps, and other critical components are functioning correctly and that they meet updated safety requirements, such as those outlined in the Virginia Grain-Baker Pool and Spa Safety Act. Properly installed anti-entrapment devices, which prevent dangerous suction forces, are crucial for preventing similar accidents. Drain entrapment incidents. Over several recent years, multiple incidents of drain entrapment at both public and private pools have prompted regional safety reviews. In one incident, a malfunctioning drain cover coupled with inadequate design measures resulted in a swimmer's hair becoming caught, subjecting the individual to dangerous suction forces. Investigations across several documented cases have consistently pointed to shortcomings in anti-entrapment technology and failures to retrofit older facilities in line with updated safety standards. Referring to guidelines such as those established under the Virginia Grain-Baker Pool and Spa Safety Act, have been active in mandating the rapid replacement of outdated drain systems. And training sessions are being organized to educate facility operators on the critical importance of maintaining modern drainage covers. This ongoing focus on preventative maintenance is intended to reduce the frequency of such entrapments and to ensure that safety devices perform as intended under all conditions. The cumulative analysis of these incidents is helping to drive a policy shift toward more prescriptive safety protocols in aquatic environments. Deadly sauna pool collapse in Russia. In 2019, a structural failure at a spa facility in a Russian town resulted in the collapse of the sauna pool area, causing multiple serious injuries and one fatality. On the day of the incident, patrons using the pool and adjacent relaxation areas experienced an abrupt failure of a section of the wooden support platform. Witnesses described the collapse as sudden, with no prior warning signs, leaving those in the vicinity little time to react. Emergency responders arrived quickly to assist the injured and secure the site. But the incident highlighted significant safety concerns in the facility's design and maintenance practices. Preliminary investigations have determined that continuous exposure to high humidity and steam inherent to spa environments, combined with inadequate routine maintenance, was likely responsible for the deterioration of the load-bearing supports. Over time, the persistent moisture weakened the wooden platform, accelerating material degradation and reducing its structural integrity. Detailed engineering assessments of the facility's construction records revealed significant gaps between the original design specifications and the current condition of the materials. Investigators noted that the facility's maintenance logs lacked evidence of regular inspections or proactive measures to address the effects of high moisture conditions on structural components. The collapse triggered an immediate suspension of operations at the spa, and local safety regulators have since mandated comprehensive audits across similar establishments. These audits aim to identify potential vulnerabilities in spa and recreational facilities that operate in high humidity environments. Regulators are also reviewing and updating guidelines on material durability and maintenance practices to ensure that structures exposed to such conditions are better equipped to withstand long-term environmental stress.